And we've got to get into the connection between Vince and Bruce, from Bruce getting hired by the boss man to their ever-evolving relationship.
Jeffrey Rose wants to know, why did Vince choose you to come to New York with him? He brought lots of territories over the days, and there were tons of employees for those. So why did he choose you?
Well, Eddie Gilbert had gone up and met with him in 1986. Yeah, had to be 86. And Eddie had asked if I was interested in going to New York. He gave my name to Vince, told Vince about me, and called, and we talked. And I mean, that's it. I don't know that there were that many people that wanted to go to New York that were qualified or capable, what have you. I actively sought the job out, and I actively wanted to go to New York and do whatever it took to succeed. So maybe that's why I interviewed. I talked to the guy. I told him I wanted to go to work, and I wanted to be there and do what I had to do.
We get lots of questions about this. Let's just answer it here. J-Dog wants to know, are there any plans for something else to wrestle coming back to the WWE network?
Never say never.
Any Jess McMahon stories that Vince has told you about?
No, other than Jess being the pioneer in the boxing world, Jess McMahon, who was Vince McMahon's grandfather, was one of the first promoters in Madison Square Garden to promote boxing and later on wrestling. But I don't know that Vince was ever around him. I have no idea, but no, there's not. Just you go back and look at the history. I tell you, Madison Square Garden looks at Jess McMahon very fondly because of all the things that he did while promoting there. So it's one of those names in the boxing world that is definitely revered.
All right. One last question before we wrap things up here. Francis wants to know, what's the one thing you think people don't know that they should know about Vince McMahon?
That he's human. And, well, goddamn, let me think about that. Maybe he isn't. But no, really and truly that he's human and just like everybody else. It has a very tough exterior that he puts out there, but he's, the biggest thing is he is fair and he's human. I think a lot of people just look at him as a larger than life being and forgets that he's a human being sometimes.
Dan wants to know, Bruce, as far as you know, is there any such thing as safe steroid usage?
Yes. As far as I know, and again, I'm no expert on the subject by any stretch of the imagination. If you saw me without my shirt, you would understand. And trust me, I will never do that to anyone. But under a doctor's supervision, steroids were used to rehabilitate and help muscle rebuild faster. That's what it's used for. And I think that under a doctor's supervision, for what it was used for, to help rehabilitate and repair muscle damage, yeah, I think that steroids have a purpose, and used under a doctor's supervision are perfectly safe.
It's been a long, strange ride, man. This really has. And going through the podcast and different things, just kind of going through life, one of the number one questions I always get from people is, what's Vince McMahon really like? And there's a couple of Vince McMahons. There's the performer and the producer who likes to explain to talent, God damn, you got to bring it down. Make it real. Don't overact. And I always kind of would throw back to him and say, no, Vince, I got this, man. It's kind of like, I'd like to show guys an example of that by telling him to go back and watch WrestleMania 3. He's standing in front of 93,000 people. Welcome to WrestleMania! Bring bring it down. And then there's the human being, Vince McMahon. That's the guy we've got to know over the years. And when we would spend as much time with him as we did, you'd get these little intimate stories about his life. And one day, Pat Patterson and I are sitting out by the pool, and Pat had one joke. And that joke was, Vince is so rich, he's got 2 thermometers for the pool. One to tell you how hot it is, one to tell you how cold it is. He'd laugh his ass off. So one day he tells this joke. He told like every other day. And Vince goes on to explain that he wasn't born with a silver spoon in his mouth, that he had actually gone through some hard times in his life. Real hard times. We're not talking about funky like a monkey hard times or nothing like that shit. We're talking hard time. And he explained that at one point in his life, he had declared bankruptcy. And as he's telling us this story, he's talking about how he went to the courthouse to sign the papers and make it all final. He came out of the courthouse to wait for his wife to pick them up because they only had one vehicle. And as he's waiting on the steps of the courthouse, he sees that vehicle enter. However, it's being towed because it had broken down. In the front seat of the car is his wife, Linda, and their son, Shane McMahon. And Linda at this time is pregnant with their sweet little daughter, Stephanie. They go home. They're so poor at this point in their life. They're not in an apartment. They're not in a home. They're in a trailer. They're living in a trailer, and it is so cold on this day in Hartford, Connecticut, that everything in the trailer had frozen, including the pipe for the plumbing. And it was that blue shit like on a plane, and then frozen solid. And Vince had to get out, and he had to dig a path all the way around the trailer to get to the deal where he unscrewed it and saw that everything had frozen solid. And he has an ice pick, and he's chipping away at this frozen shit. And he's telling you, I'm chipping away and chipping away. And frozen urine and frozen feces all over. That is fucking up my fresh manicure. And I'm like, stop. You're bankrupt. You have no money. You're filing for bankruptcy. You only got one car, and it's broken. You're living in a trailer that is frozen with frozen shit and piss, but you still have a manicure. Without hesitation, he says this, well, goddamn, pal, got to have class. You fast forward many, many years. I got fired in 2008. After I got fired in 2008, I went to work for TNA. So as you can imagine, I too had to file for bankruptcy. And when I did, for whatever reason, I felt the need to call Vince McMahon when I got home. I called him, and I said, hey, Vince, just wanted to let you know, Steph and I filed for bankruptcy today. And his response was, God damn, good for you, pal, I'm proud of you. Now, if you ever go bankrupt, I'm not sure that that's the response you would be looking for from someone, but I'm not sure what I was going to get. And I went on to explain to him that, I said, hey, Vince, on the way to the courthouse, we stopped and got a mani-pedi. I thought that's what you should do. And God is my witness without hesitation. He says, well, goddamn, pal, you got to have class. So that's the guy I know.
Let's talk about something that Vince loves. Chris wants to know, what impression does Bruce do that Vince likes the most, and which is his least favorite? Do you have an impression that pisses Vince off, and does he have a favorite?
He pretends to get frustrated when I do him, but he really loves it. Well, all my shit's great.
Does he like Dusty? I feel like Dusty's probably his favorite.
Everybody likes Dusty a little bit. And then get the JR a little bit. Sassafras. And that's real nice. Real nice. Playing a little ha-ha on old JR.
Does he still hear your Jerry Jarrett? Does he still get a kick out of that?
Oh, yeah. Oh, well, fuck. Huh? Oh, yeah. Actually, yeah, Jerry Jarrett's a good one. Pat. But I do. I mean, people think I just do it on this show, and oh my God, you'd never do that to their face. I've done every one of them to every one of their faces.
I gotta ask, what's he think of your Jim Cornette?
Goddamn. Shit. He does Everybody does Jim Cornette.
Vince has a Jim Cornette impression.
Yeah, it sounds a lot like mine though.
Okay.
Motherfucker. Double cheese. You took Jim Cornette's no goddamn cheese on a fucking cheeseburger. How the fuck do you have a goddamn burger without fucking cheese? Double cheese on a double cheeseburger, motherfucker.
It tickles me. The idea of thinking you guys are sitting around a table. And
bastard.
And somebody might question a piece of I'm not going again.
Extra cheese, motherfucker. It's better when I can see you.
I know.
And he tried to fake me out with you're trying to look at. See, folks, what he's doing is he's trying to look at me and look like he's gonna say something, so he'll expect me to upcut it. But I don't do that because I know when he's actually gonna say something, and then when he doesn't,
yeah, here it comes.
I just say motherfucker.
This scene right here, what we're doing, is a lot like that scene in National Lampoon's Christmas. And you are the dog Snots. And I'm telling our audience right now, it's easier if we just let him finish. You know, you got a little Mississippi leg hound in you is what I'm trying to say.
I have no idea what you just called me.
Okay. So there's a dog that humps everybody and everything in the movie National Lampoon's Christmas with Chevy Chase. Maybe you've heard of it. Oh, Cousin Eddie, Shitter's Full.
This Christmas one?
Yeah.
I'm not really, I've seen it.
Wait a minute. Are you telling me that's not the best Christmas movie of all time? Are we fixing to get hot right now? Are you going to sit here and disparage the good damn name of National Lampoon's Christmas with Chevy Chase?
Julia Louis-Dreyfus is in that. She was hot.
Okay. You remember now. Yes. She was in it. Yeah. She was the neighbor.
Yeah. I don't remember all the other shit though.
All right. Well, there's a scene where the dog is humping people's legs. Cousin Eddie's dog is humping everybody. And Cousin Eddie says, it's easier if you just let him finish. The idea being he's going to keep humping you until it just comes out. So just let him squirt and then we can move on with our day.
So what's the fucking goddamn analogy back to me?
Because you get in this fucking shtick coma with all the Jim Cornette shit and I'm trying to talk and you're cutting me off. So I just okay, let's just let him get it out of his system and then we can move on with the show.
Okay, fine.
Mississippi leg hound.
I still don't know what that means, but okay.
Chris wants to know the Iron Sheik
Fuck you, motherfucker.
There we go. Ryan wants to know if Vince challenged you to play him one-on-one in one of these, what would you pick? Ping pong, billiards, or darts?
Oh, ping pong.
Think you got him there?
I think I got him there. I got a chance there. He's a very good pool player and he's pretty good darts. So, I mean, I know he'd beat me at pool. Yeah. Darts, I don't know. But ping pong, I'm a pretty good ping pong player.
Have you seen him play pool or you just know he has a badass table? Cause I have a badass table, but
I've seen him play.
Okay.
No, I've seen him play pool and darts.
Those are old bar games. Was Vince back in the day an old school hustler?
I'm sure.
Had to be.
But yeah, no, I've played him in pool, but I've seen him play pool and I've seen him throw darts. Haven't seen him play ping pong, but I do know. Here's another fact. You want another fact? Because this sumbitch listens to this show too. Bill Gray, my karate instructor who inducted me into the Black Belt Hall of Fame 3 different times. And hey, Bill, I'm still waiting for the 4th. Okay.
2020 is still going. You still have time. Get me my 4th induction into the Black Belt Hall of Fame. But Bill was like a champion ping pong player in his day. And one day we went back by the park where it all started, Beverly Hills Park in Houston, Texas, where I took my first karate class and all that. And it was a rec center. It's like, let's go in and play ping pong. And I smoked him. I kicked his ass so bad that I don't think he's ever picked up a paddle since, but he used to be a champion. And I mean, when I say I smoked him. I skunked his ass. And we kept playing. One more game. And I kept beating him. So ping pong was my game. I'll whip your ass. Except for those. And then you want to know a real humbling deal is we went to a tennis, pro tennis gimmick.
Yeah.
Mattress Max place. And if you've ever seen pro tennis players play ping pong, holy uckfay. I mean, they back up like 10 feet from the table and are swatting that goddamn ball, man. It's like, holy shit, dude. Like you can't even see it. And they take it very seriously. So I'm not that good. But to your average ping pong player, yeah, I could probably take them.
Adam wants to know, out of all the referees you've worked with, what makes a great referee?
Again, one that is in the background and that does their job without getting in the way. And if you don't notice the referee, then that's a great referee.
Here's one here. Adam wants to know, has Vince ever had any issues with anything that's been discussed on the podcast? The gist is, have you gotten in trouble since you've been back for stuff we do on the podcast? And the answer is no, boys and girls. We don't talk about anything current. What the fuck?
Yeah.
Boy, I know we don't talk about current stuff, but this is too good not to ask. Mayhem wants to know, what was an ass chewing like from Vince back in the day compared to an ass chewing from Vince like now?
Different. I think everybody grows up, and I think that everyone matures, and as you get older, you get a little bit wiser and you mellow out a little bit. And I'm not saying that Vince has really mellowed out that much. He's as intense as he ever was, but
his temper's in check.
We handle things a lot differently than we did when we were younger.
You learned, you evolved.
You evolve and learn. Yes.
Fred wants to know, what's the biggest mistake you've ever made in Gorilla?
Whew. Again, those are too many to count. Either going commercial where we weren't supposed to, or giving wrong time cues. There's a lot of ways to fuck up there.
Francis wants to know, what Christmas presents have you gotten from the boys or given to the boys over the years? Is there a funny one or an interesting one or a memorable one?
God damn. I don't know that I've ever really exchanged any presents with any of the boys.
Did you ever give Vince a memorable gift, or he give you a memorable gift?
Employment.
All of a sudden, this is the JR podcast.
No, I tell you, my favorite gift that I gave him was a nice art bottle of ketchup, like a big fucking thing of ketchup. They had in his office like a Heinz bottle of ketchup, but it was like a big, really nice art kind of thing. Like a
Warhol type deal.
Yeah, but it was an actual it was like a ceramic bottle of ketchup.
Oh, so probably Steve Kaufmann then.
Yeah. Okay. I don't know.
All right. Let's
Heinz.
Huh?
It was Heinz. Don't fucking ever compare me to Jim Ross like that. God damn it. That's fresh. I don't believe in exchanging gifts with talent. That's fresh. Keep that separate, Conrad. Next, what's your next little question you got there in your book?
I mean, Rajiv wants to know, what are the Pritchard family traditions during the Christmas holiday?
Well, let's see. we open presents. Okay, so really don't have any. You know, when I was in Texas, we always had the big Christmas Eve party. And the Christmas Eve party was for members of the family, unofficial members of the family and friends to come over and just have a few drinks and eat a bunch of food and just get together on Christmas Eve. And that kind of went away, obviously, when I moved back to Connecticut. But that was always a shitload of fun. And you know, I'd have the homeless people that didn't have a lot of family. They would always come over and just kind of hang out and do that. And that was one of the best ones that we had. And then Christmas morning is you just get up and you open your presents. I don't do that shit Christmas Eve. You open your presents on Christmas morning. You have Eggs Benedict. And then you just chill the fuck out for the rest of the time. And I was early when my kids were younger. Now, this was a lot of fun, and unfortunately it doesn't last long enough, is when my kids were younger, on that Christmas party, I had Santa Claus there every year. And so all the kids from in the neighborhood will all come over to sit on Santa's lap, because Mr. Pritchard had an in with Santa, and Santa would come to my house, and he would spend an hour, and he would talk to all the little children in the neighborhood and get all their requests and everything. And then he had to go and deliver presents to the rest of the little bastards and tell them, hey, go home, go to bed, or else I'm not coming to your house. So yeah, I like the Santa shit. And I kind of stole that one from Vince, but I did it on Christmas Eve.
Christmas movie, Bruce, where do you stand on this? It's it is.
100%.
Explain.
Takes place at Christmas.
That's all it takes to be a Christmas movie.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm with it.
For Christmas. Yippee-ki-yay, motherfucker.
Charlie Thrower wants to know, do either of you guys have any fun or embarrassing road stories about the other one from your live show days?
You first.
I got nothing.
Then neither do I.
I knew how to play that shit. Andrew wants to know, people always say everything goes through Vincent Kennedy McMahon for approval. How hands-on is Vince with products like video games? Does he get involved? Like, does the team show him mock-ups of the game for him to approve, or what's that look like?
No, he has people that does that. I'll tell you my favorite video game, incident with Vince is when my kids were very young. They came to the office. We were there, and when I say young, they had to be like maybe 3 or 4, but old enough to have some idea what to do on a video game. And right outside of our office in the TV studio was one of the arcade video games that you could play while you're waiting there. And so I pulled up a chair and put my son on the chair, and Kane's sitting there and he's playing this video game. And as usual, we're waiting for Vince to come into the meeting, to join the meeting. And when he came in, he saw my wife and kids there and was saying hello and all this shit. And Kane's over there playing a video game. Hey, pal, what are you doing? And Vince sat there and played this arcade video game for like 15 minutes with Kane. Now, Vince had no clue what the hell he was doing, and neither did my son, but they played for 15 minutes, and Vince is sitting there moving the controller and pounding the damn thing. And I'll never forget Brian Gewirtz coming out, because everybody was in the room waiting on Vince, and he came out to go to the bathroom or something and sees Vince. They're playing a video game, and Stephanie came in there and was like, we've all been waiting on you in here, and he's out here playing video games with my kid. So that's my favorite just video game story with Vince. Has nothing to do with the other stuff. That's people that know what the hell they're doing. That's like asking me to give input on a video game.
You know, it's funny because here's a peek behind the curtain. We got an email from our great folks who support us over at Westwood One, and they said, hey, Conrad, how how many of your co-hosts are gamers? And I had to be honest. And I said, okay, let's play hypotheticals here. I have a PS4. Bruce Prichard has a PS4 only because his son has a PS4. And she's like, what about everybody else? I'm like, baby, my co-hosts are fucking grandpas. They don't have games.
Not me.
Not yet. But you know what? The way Kane's been, well, never mind. Jesse Inman wants to know, and we got this in various ways. Could you ever see Vince McMahon doing a tell-all type book?
Sure.
No way. That would never happen.
Yeah, I could see it.
Mike Whitaker wants to know, when Vince was doing the McMahon $1 million giveaway, was he really giving away his money?
100%. Couldn't, the company's a public company. Couldn't give away company money to do something like that. So it was his own money.
I don't know what you want to say here, but there's a whole bunch of smartasses in the replies with their stupid smirks. Let's say, why are the ratings worse than they've been in 20 years? Do you want to say anything or just keep it fucking moving?
Keep it moving.
On a serious note,
For those that know, no explanation is needed. For those that don't, none will do.
Lenny Bakken wants to know, with Vince being such a workout freak, has he ever encouraged or even insisted that his inner circle work out with him as well?
Not insisted. It's especially not with him. I used to work out with him all the time, but no, wasn't. Never really been insisted. It just happened to be right place, right time. Encouraged, yes, to work out.
Could you imagine having such a crazy story in your childhood? Like when you hear people say, I met The Rock at a Waffle House once, or I went to Hulk Hogan's beach shop. You get to reply with, oh yeah, I played video games with Vince McMahon and I whipped his ass.
Hey, it's Conrad Thompson. Thanks for checking out the podcast here on YouTube. Be sure to hit the subscribe button and the notifications bell so you get a notice anytime we upload some new content. And go save yourself some money right now. If you're in a 30-year loan or you have credit card debt, it's not a matter of if I can save you money. It's a matter of how much. Find out right now for free at SaveWithConrad.com.